Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Chef. Well, quite a week here. We had pretty good weather here in Maine, and it's still nice. It's partly cloudy, but the sun peeks out, and there's been no rain, so we've been doing good. So it's been nice, but it's noticeably, the days are getting shorter now. You're starting to notice that the daylight hours are shrinking. And that's, I always hate that. That's the one thing about going into winter that I hate the most, is that the daylight daylight time shrinks, and I hate it. But that's just the way it is. If the Earth is round, and that's the reason why we have shorter daytimes, is the Earth is now moving in the other direction. So we're gonna have fewer hours of sunshine. Anyway, I went down to Target today, and just nosing around. When you walk through the doors, when you go into Walmart, immediately after you go through the doors, on the left side, they have this small section here of really cheap things. Okay, like $1 or something like that. Sometimes it's crap, but then sometimes it ain't crap. I found some pretty good USB stuff. Things you plug into a USB outlet for, like a light, reading light, and it works good. I got one in my bedroom, and I'll tell you, it's bright, and it can change the intensity of the light, or either want it bright white or kind of an off yellow color. You know what I'm saying? You can change that. It's really nice. I only paid $5 for the damn thing, but during the holidays and stuff, they'll have some pretty neat, what looks like crafts, stuff that's homemade in the aisle there, and I really like that too. So anyway, I went in there today, and I found this in there. This was only $5, and you have to put a battery in it, but Smokey likes it. She likes putting her nose up on it, and see, it's small, but it's pretty cool for what it I mean, I've seen bigger ones of these things, like at Spencer's Gifts and stuff like that, but this is kind of cool because it's small, and it's good for a desk or something like that. But $5 to hell. I mean, it's worth $5, and you can have fun with it, and you don't have to plug it into an outlet. It just runs on batteries. Oh, here she comes. You want to see this again, little tiny kitties? Come see, Cookie. Yeah, she's making her way here. All right, I gotta put it down so she can see it. Here you go, Cookie. Go touch it now. It's sort of a pink color, the lights, and you know, she sees it with wonder, like, why is that doing that? And she touches it with her nose, and the thing goes, all the electricity goes to her nose. She's quite a cat. But yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool. I like it. Makes a nice gift for little occasions, you know, and you just a little switch to shut it off. But yeah, I found that today at Target. Sometimes the stuff in Target ain't bad. Okay, what can I say? Most of the time, what they got in there is overpriced, or you can find you know, something better somewhere else. But you know, when I shop in there, I'm not in there looking for quality items. Okay, I'm just in there just nosing around most of the time, because Target really doesn't offer much for anything a guy my age. Let's put it like that. I mean, I go in there looking for underwear my size and I can't find it. Okay, I mean, it's made for like teenagers. They don't have any in there like that. They don't have any clothes that'll fit me in there. Okay, so you know, forget about clothes shopping for a big guy like me, because it's not going to work. Kmart used to have all the clothes I would ever need, but now that Kmart's out of the damn market over here, there is one Kmart in Maine, but it's way down in Portland, I think. But in Bangor, I mean, there isn't anyone. You know, so I've been resorting to ordering my clothes off the internet. It's worked for the most part. Sometimes I get the stuff and it doesn't quite fit right, but I can work around it, you know, take in a little bit here or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I can alter it a little bit, just enough so I can look decent in it anyway. But it's sad, because like I say, Kmart had some good bargains there for big and tall guys, and now I can't do that no more. That's the world we live in now. Anyway, another part of the world we live in is seeing mugshots of our favorite people we hate. And I'll tell you, it's been quite a week for that. First we get Giuliani, and then Sidney Powell, and Jenny, I don't know what her, she was a lawyer for Trump, okay, sitting there smiling. And later we got one of Trump himself. And I'll tell you, the faces of all four of those, and there was others, a whole bunch of others, but those are the four ones I think everybody was waiting to see, okay? And so those four people, you know, there's something wrong with them mentally when one of them sits in front of the camera with a, you know, big grin on her face like she's getting ready for the prom. And you got, you know, Sidney Powell standing there like, you know, like she's like a deer caught in the fucking headlights. I don't know what anybody says about her, but I think she was drunk through most of the shit that went on there between Donald Trump and the whole business about the Kraken and all that shit she was saying. I think she was drunk, honestly. I lived in Texas. A lot of women down there drink, okay? And I'm not criticizing Texas women here, but I'm just saying in the areas that I lived in Texas, I noticed a lot of clinking and clanking in the garbage cans for, you know, divorced women, or, you know, just you seeing these ladies out in public with a bottle of beer or something. They drink a lot, but I guess you would if you lived in the heat down there, you know. I don't know, maybe that's why they do, but anyway, you could sweat the alcohol off, it wouldn't kill you. You got Sidney Powell, then you got Giuliani, who looks like, you know, this face. I mean, it's like hideous face. I mean, it's like Jesus, you know, and he ain't looking too happy. He actually looks like he's really pissed. Okay, and I guess I would be pissed too if I knew that the guy I was backing up here all this time, trying to back up his lie. Now he knew he was lying. Giuliani ain't no idiot. Okay, he might be dumb to fall for these idiots, but he's not a dummy. You got to be smart to be a fucking lawyer, okay? He knew that Trump was lying, but Trump was his meal ticket to getting back up into the heights of fame, I guess, you know, because he missed it when the 9/11 thing happened, and everybody loved this guy. They called him America's mayor, even though the guy was already corrupted by that time, and people were already shitting on him. When 9/11 happened, all the accolades went on to him. I mean, what the fuck, you know? Jesus, you know. suddenly the bad guys were the good guys. But that wasn't going to last long because of his nature. And so eventually he started to slide back down into the gloom and gutter, of things. And Trump was his way back to the top. I think that's what he wanted to finish off his career by being on the top. Well, he's going to finish his career all right, but it ain't going to be on the top. It's going to be in the face of infamy because he's really in some hot shit, siding up with Trump. And then, of course, we go to Donald Trump himself with this cartoon character or something. I mean, it looks like Elmer Fudd, for Christ's sake. I mean, this guy, my grandfather used to make a face like that at me when he was kidding around and shit. But to see Donald Trump looking like that in a camera, in a mugshot, I mean, it's like, who's not going to look at that and laugh their ass off, okay? Come on. He spent all his time making himself the most hated man in the country, okay? And then he does a mugshot like that. I mean, is he doing this for laughs, or is this real? Or is that really how he emotes feeling? Is making faces like that what he does with his family or something? I mean, because look, remember when he was at that dinner there and Obama was up there on the stage and he was making jokes and stuff like that, and he made some remarks about Trump that was in a joking manner, which, of course, it was about him saying Trump saying that Obama wasn't a real American. He was born in Kenya or whatever the hell, what the fuck the lie was that he was spreading around back then, and Obama was making jokes about that, and Trump was just sitting there like this with his arms crossed, and everybody around him was laughing their ass off, but he wouldn't crack a smile. He just sat there, and you knew what was running through his head. He was going to get back at Obama any fucking way he could. And, I think that, that's the way to, and then of course now that he does this thing with the mugshot, and he's a guy that would never show his emotion when he was being picked on, now he does it. I have to say he did that on purpose. What do you think? I think Trump made that face on purpose just to get a laugh. Okay? And he knew the public would see it. He knew it would be downloaded. He knew it would be copied. He knew it would be thrown into memes. Okay? And so I figure maybe he's also aware that, he could do something with that picture, maybe to make some money off of it. And so I saw this article here from Normal Island News, written by Laura Kay, and it's entitled, "Donald Trump Puts Mugshot on Exciting Range of Merchandise." America's most respected intellectual Donald Trump suffered the humiliation of having his mugshot released after he was arrested in Georgia for trying to change the outcome of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Trump has, of course, protested his innocence with the same level of believability of Vladimir Putin insisting Prigozhin's jet fell out of the sky from its own accord. Thankfully, Trump was released after paying $200,000 in bail, which was his prostitute money for the week. Trump's mugshot was released alongside kind-hearted philanthropists like Rudy Giuliani and a bunch of people I've not heard of. Police revealed Trump was 6'3" and weighed 250 pounds on the day of his arrest. Trump was 6'3" and 250. Come on, that guy goes at least 270 at the least. Okay, and he ain't no 6'3". Okay, what is he trying to advertise himself as a wrestler for the WWE or something? Come on, Trump is bigger than that. He's not as tall as that, but he's fatter than that. The shorter the guy, the more the weight's going to show. He's such a liar. Meaning he has lost 2 stone and gained an inch since changing his human costume. Trump has trimmed his horns for the occasion because it's important to always look your best, even when you're in Fulton County Jail. Unfortunately, his fake tan and toupee were so bright, police needed a tinted lens to reduce the glare. On the plus side, the mugshot really captured Trump's demonic aura. The arrest was a strange moment for Americans because their prisons are supposed to be for poor black men, not rich white men. There is concern that if you charge one U.S. president for his crimes, you would have to charge all of them for their crimes, meaning the International Criminal Court could soon have its hands full. Trump argued police should go after the real criminals, but the prosecutor retorted, "That's exactly what we're doing," adding, "American presidents are not supposed to change the outcome of our elections. They're only supposed to change the outcome of elections in the global South." Trump screeched that all he was guilty of was disputing the outcome of an election, as is his democratic right. He then popped over to incel safe space, Truth Social, to complain about the, quote, stolen election, unquote. Never mind the spelling. If you see something written in block capitals on social media, you can be certain those words are coming from a rational, well-balanced individual, and Truth Social has all the rational, well-balanced individuals. Trump boasted a video he shared, but has since been deleted, received 231 million views, making it the biggest social media video ever, with more than double the number of viewers of the Super Bowl. Note the Super Bowl is something to do with an American version of rugby, where fragile players feel the need to wear body armor and helmets. They mistakenly call this game football, and to date no one has bothered to correct them. As Trump so eloquently explained, his arrest was a quote-unquote travesty of justice, but also a brilliant promotional opportunity, and we all know capitalists never let an opportunity go to waste. Therefore, Trump immediately called for campaign donations. Trump is the first American president to ever have a mugshot taken, meaning his mugshot is unquestionably better than Joe Biden's mugshot. In fact, Trump was so proud of the mugshot, he posted it to X. That's used to be Twitter, but now they call it X, making his first appearance on the platform since he was banned by Twitter. I understand Trump is already putting the mugshot on a range of merchandise like t-shirts, mugs, which he hopes to sell to the same geniuses who ate Trump steaks and attended Trump University. It's fair to say Trump appeals to people who are absolutely desperate for political change. Trump might be the only person in America who could change things for the worse, and that's why he is the Republicans' leading candidate. His mugs and t-shirts include the words, quote-unquote, never surrender. So please don't mention that Trump did indeed surrender to the police. Let's be honest. It would have been more exciting if he'd put on a buffalo hat and gone down fighting, but self-sacrifices just for his unwitting pawns. Trump even says as much when he insists, quote, they're not after me, they're after you, unquote. But this elevates him to martyr status in the eyes of adoring fascists. This is why his approval ratings went up after his arrest, and people say there is no hope for America. In his last term, President Trump proved such a roaring success that Americans crawled over broken glass to vote for anyone but him. But I'm absolutely certain things will be different this time. Mark my words, Trump is going to be president again. Mexico is going to pay for that fucking wall, and it will fucking well have lasers on it. X. Okay. Anyway, yeah, she's from England. That's why there was so many British comments here. But yeah, I mean that's essentially, you know, what he's doing. You know, this guy, he don't skip a beat. You know, he figures, well, fine, take my damn mugshot, but you're gonna make me some money. You know, I'll take that mugshot and sell it. And his followers are idiotic. They'll buy this mugshot. You know, they don't care. I mean, what the hell? That's what these people do. That's what his people do, I should say. But can you believe that? He gets arrested, has a mugshot, and then he turns around and he says, hey, I can use this to campaign and get donations because people will feel sorry for me. That's why his approval rating went up a little. Okay, after he got arrested, but you know it ain't going to stay there. You know, especially when when the trial gets going and stuff like that, you know, his numbers are gonna dwindle. I mean, remember how the Republicans went after Bill Clinton? okay, for Monica Lewinsky scandal and all that shit. Well, Bill Clinton's approval numbers went up during that period because people felt that, you know, he was being, you know, chased down and, you know, just to, you know, witch hunt, you know what I'm saying? You know, trying to punish him for something that, you know, didn't require an impeachment. So his approval numbers went up. And of course, you know, people don't even give a shit now about that, what happened then, because, you know, he's not president anymore and years have gone by. And so the Republicans don't even care that he did it then, as much as back in those days, you know, Ken Starr and all these people were so fucking, ooh, you know, we can't have a president doing that. Of course, now today, all the Republicans are doing that, and there's nobody cares. So these people are fucking nuts. All right. So anyway, I thought that was funny this week. How, you know, this all exploded here. It seems like all at once. But Donald Trump's mugshot was the last one that they put up there, and everybody got that. You know, even the Democrats, they were using it to make memes out of. I don't know. I haven't seen all the memes yet, but I keep seeing new ones being used, popping up on my other pages and stuff. But I know there's a ton more out there than just the 2 or 3 that I saw. People are going to beat that horse to death in the days to come. So anyway, let's go to commercial break and we shall return.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Today, an indictment was unsealed.
It's here. Now that's what I call conspiracy. Volume 3. 78 of the hottest indictment charges from your favorite superstar president. And still technically not a criminal. Like conspiracy to violate civil rights. Conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. Obstruction of an official proceeding. And conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government.
We're gonna walk down to the Capitol.
Collaborations with hot new artists like Co-Conspirator 1.
Let's have trial by combat.
And we'll throw in his bonus lyrics booklet just released. Now, Volume 3 has the best of today's court docket topping hits and all the charges from the classified documents case, including obstructing justice, making false statements, and of course, retaining classified information.
Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers, except it is like highly confidential secret. This is secret information. These are the papers. See, as president, I could have been less than that. No, I can't, you know, but this is classified.
Now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. It's so cool.
Dozens of incriminating and for some insane reason recorded tracks, such as 34 felony counts of falsifying business records and a hush money scheme.
When it comes time for the financing, which will be, listen, what financing? You won't have to pay yourself. No, I got, no.
Order now and get all these hits. Or order in a few weeks and we can squeeze in a couple more from an upcoming indictment in Georgia.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Now that's what I call conspiracy. Volume 3. What's that? Volume 4? What? Oh, Volume 4. Guys, how many of these are there? Why don't I just record all the numbers, because this keeps happening. Save us some time.
I don't want to show too much of the bottom part there, but without too many curse words here, sir. What are your thoughts?
I don't have friends. I don't have family.
He's honest. He cares about kids. He cares about guns. He cares about our country.
Trump is mean.
Right now, my rights are being denied by the FBI.
I'm a proud Polish person.
He tells the truth, never lies.
I'm old. You can see I'm old. I'm older.
We need to get down on our hands and knees and pray for this man to get into office.
Trump has a big mouth. We all have big mouths. Right, people? Trump! Trump! Trump!
His Christian values that he stands for.
We love Trump! We love Trump! We love Trump!
But definitely not woke, definitely not anything about any of that type of mentality.
Evil's taken over. Good needs to overcome the evil, and Donald Trump is going to do it.
King Jesus first and then King Trump.
And China. Put an end to it.
It's my birthday weekend.
The left and the rhinos, the globalists.
They kill them all. Kill them all.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. All right, I want to just begin here, this segment here, just to tell those who might be interested in knowing that this October, the 13th through the 15th, there's a comic convention scheduled here at the Bangor Civic Center, and it's going to feature Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek, and 3 actors from the Sons of Anarchy, another TV show. I never saw it, so I don't even know who these people are, but I guess it's Opie, Juice, and Alvarez. They're the ones that'll be there to sign autographs and stuff like that. And of course, there's going to be vendors there, and artists, and lots of things. Last year they had, I think it was at the mall, but this year it's not going to be at the mall. It's going to be at the Civic Center, so that'll be nice, I guess. It's the tickets are $20 a person here. Let me check that and give you the. Yep. Yeah, because the price is different for each day. Okay, VIP tickets are going to be $98. Obviously, they're always higher for those, but it's a lot less if you're going to just be there for the day or something like that. Because, you know, for me, one day is enough. Okay, I see everything in one day. I don't need to go back. I mean, it just, you know, I like to see, you know, what's there, and, you know, hold on a second here. Okay, okay, yeah, for the 13th, which is Friday, adult tickets are going to be $18 plus fees, and for kids between 5 and 12 years old will be $8 plus fees. Fees meaning, you know, anything you do inside the convention there, which that's not bad. You know, I spend more than $18 on a fucking meal, you know, at a restaurant, so that ain't too bad. Now on the 14th, the adult ticket is $33 in fees, with the kids price the same, $8 in fees. And see, the last day, Sunday, on the last day, the adult ticket is $23 in fees, and the kid ticket is the same, $8 in fees. So it's reasonably priced for tickets. Okay, the reason why it's so much more for Saturday is because they have, you know, costume events and all kinds of other things going on there, to, you know, that you won't see on the other days. And that's why it's so much more. You know, I find personally, I go there on a Friday when it's a lot less crowded, because still people are working, and there's not as many people to step on when you're there on a Friday. But on Saturday, the place is wall to wall, okay? And even though the Civic Center is a bigger place to go for things like that, it still seems inadequate at times. Like you're still jamming tons of people in a small space, because you do get a lot of people coming up here for that from around the state, okay? The problem is they don't really advertise it that well, because the only time I ever hear about these conventions is when I check my email, because I get email updates from Bangor Comic Con. And I think by word of mouth, or if you just go to the Civic Center a lot, you might see a poster there saying when there's going to be one, but they don't really talk about it. You know, it's the same thing when they do the, you know, anything else events. I mean, they advertise a lot for these fucking tractor pulls, which drive me up the wall. They advertise a lot for seniors that come here. But the comic convention seems to be like everybody's last thing on the totem pole. Nobody gives a fuck, you know, about the comic convention except for the nerds around here. And it's up to them to spread the word about when there's going to be one. And that's sad, because, you know, a lot of people enjoy the chance to be able to meet actors from TV shows. And there's going to be a lot of them there. A lot of different actors. Let me see if I can't get to the picture. Okay, yeah. Let me see if I read off some names here. You might remember or know who I'm talking about here. So we got, boy, that's small. Murr. I don't know who Murr is. Ryan Hurst. DJ Qualls. I think I've seen him in a few things. Damian Leone. Theo Rossi, David Sobolov, I guess it's David Howard Thornton, Jonathan Frakes, like I said, Monica Ryle, Emilio Riviera, Kyle Pasick, Chris Bartlett, Griffin Burns, Leah Clark, Susanna Malik, and Tom O'Connell. Tom O'Connell. So yeah, those are the people that are supposed to be lined up to go there. Of course, anything can change between now and then. I mean, I remember just before the pandemic became an issue, Jonathan Frakes was supposed to be here for that, and he pulled out. And then all of a sudden, the whole convention just stopped. They didn't have it. They canceled it because of the pandemic. So, I mean, we were just a couple of months, or not even that, we were a month away from doing it, and they shut it down. So this is, you know, like I said, this is what they plan on bringing there, and they're hoping that they can get everybody there. I'm hoping to get the chance to see John Frakes. I didn't get a chance to see him last time he was booked to come here. So I'm hoping that I can go there and get his autograph, because I was looking forward to that, at least, to go there. So I'm really, you know, excited about that. And whatever junk the people are selling there at the center there, you know, I might pick up a few things here and there, I don't know, something. And then if I do, I'll show you what I got. So anyway, that's me promoting that. So don't forget, if you're even if you're out of state, you know, come on up here or something, if it ain't too big of a drive. And I know gas is going to be a killer there when you drive distances like that. But you know, it's a fun event. You know, it's you know, small town kind of convention. You wouldn't think there'd be conventions like that in a place like this, but they come. Most of the time, they only come to Portland because that's the biggest city there in Maine. But Bangor has been lightening up there on that, and they feel like they're Boston now, the people that run Bangor. So you know, so I guess they feel like they can open the door to some of these oddities that they don't normally have here, which is fine. Okay, yay. You know, some local shit was happening here, which I thought was really important to talk about, and it concerns Eastern Maine Medical Center here. It kind of opens up, you know, this big door that shows us really what goes on behind, you know, because Eastern Maine Medical Center up here has, in the last 20 years, has almost tripled its size. They've been investing a lot of fucking money in additions, and this hospital sits on the fucking riverbank. You know, I expect one of these days the damn thing is just gonna slide right into the Penobscot River. You know, I mean, they just keep adding and adding onto that thing. They've got a huge parking garage, which they just added onto that, you know, and you have to wonder, I mean, where is all this fucking money coming from? These people are fucking awash with cash. They're getting tons of fucking money, you know, in a state where most of the people are elderly, okay, and the population isn't so big here in this state. So I have to think, you know, they can't possibly be making that kind of money in this state to be able to justify all these fucking additions they've been adding on to Eastern Maine Medical Center, which is just, you know, two miles maybe down the road from here, you know. And so this little story come out here, which I thought, you know, this is pretty interesting about Eastern Maine. Okay, this is, let me see, let me get to the whole page here. Continue. Accept. Okay, expand. Okay, this is from the Bangor Daily News. A 15-year-old's criticism of Bangor Hospital is at the center of this free speech case, written by Kathleen O'Brien. This was published 3 days ago, so it goes to show you how long it took me to get to this. Northern Light Health threatened to sue a former employee for defamation after her 15-year-old son published his concerns about patient safety at the Bangor Hospital, something that led a free speech advocacy group to defend the boy. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE, F-I-R-E, is representing Samson Cornane, 15 years old, who lives in Hamden, who published his concerns about Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center in an online petition to U.S. Representative Jared Golden, a Democrat from Maine's 2nd District, and in a letter to the University of Maine's student newspaper. Fire asserts that Northern Light threatened to sue Cornane's mother, Dr. Ann Yared, a former pediatric intensive care physician at EMMC, for defamation. The healthcare provider believes that she was the one who actually penned Cornane's petition letter and other communications, something the boy and his legal team denies. Quote, "It's sad to see a hospital try to stop people from talking about important things, especially when my concerns were about patient safety," unquote. Cornane, who was a UMaine junior studying computer science, said, quote, "It felt like they were trying to undermine my credibility because of my age and dismiss what I was saying completely," unquote. No lawsuits have been filed in the Cornane case. It is still a unique one involving a minor and one of the Bangor region's largest employers. Fire is best known for taking high-profile First Amendment cases on college campuses since its founding in 1999. And it is increasingly challenging the American Civil Liberties Union as a wider defender of free speech. Cornane began researching Northern Lights patient safety history after Yared, Y-E-R-E-D, is it Yared or Yared? I don't know. Quote, "was required to leave," unquote, "her position as a pediatric intensive care physician at Eastern Maine Medical Center without cause in July of 2021, Fire claims. Yared's dismissal came shortly after she notified Northern Light executives that a colleague completed just 1 year of a 3-year critical care fellowship. Cornane's petition says Northern Light denies that Yared was terminated because she raised safety concerns, but a spokesperson declined to comment on the reason for Yared's quote-unquote separation from the hospital. Fire claimed that Yared attempted to reach a settlement over the wrongful termination claims without litigation, but Suzanne Spruce, Northern Light spokesperson, said Yared threatened to sue EMMC, quote, relating to her separation from employment, unquote. Cornane began looking into EMMC's patient safety ratings and prior incidents reported by media outlets that, quote, showed a troubling pattern of safety issues at his local hospital, unquote, Fire claims. Spruce said a person contacted EMMC personnel, quote, regarding topics that included issues germane to his mother's threatened claims, unquote, but he did not disclose his connection to Yared. When he was unable to meet with Northern Light officials, Cornane started a change.org petition in September of 2022 addressed to Representative Golden, outlining his findings on Northern Light's low patient safety ratings and calling for an investigation. His petition had more than 750 signatures as of Wednesday evening. The following month, Cornane wrote a letter to the editor in UMaine's student paper on his concerns about staff shortages and underqualified professionals at the hospital. The letter, published October 28, 2022, contained a link to his petition. Cornane also created a Twitter account to draw attention to his petition and safety concerns. When I found out about the risks patients may face and the challenges healthcare workers are facing, I thought I should do something, unquote, Cornane said. My goal was to improve the healthcare system, unquote. Northern Light believes Yared or someone, quote, acting at Dr. Reed's direction, unquote, wrote the, quote, false and malicious statements about one of our longest tenured, highly skilled, dedicated, and competent physicians, unquote, Spruce said. Fire maintains Cornane wrote the petition, the letter to the editor, and the tweets published through the Twitter account he created. And Cornane signed an affidavit saying as much. Quote, not only is the hospital system wrong and had no basis to say that his mom had any involvement in the writings and advocacy that Sampson did, but what they're doing is trying to silence his speech, unquote, Jay Diaz, Fire senior attorney, said. In April 2023, the hospital placed Yared on notice that it reserved its right to bring a legal claim against her for the defamatory statements which have harmed EMMC and the physicians about whom these statements were made, said Spruce, who emphasized the hospital never threatened to sue Curnane. That move led fire into the case. The organization published its demand for Northern Light to retract the lawsuit threat this week. Diaz said Northern Light's alleged lawsuit threat is an example of a strategic lawsuit against public participation, also called a SLAPP, S-L-A-P-P. And those kinds of lawsuits, large organizations or wealthy people sue critics to burden them with the cost of legal defense regardless of whether the criticism was false or malicious. Maine and 31 other states have laws aimed at discouraging these kinds of lawsuits, which often apply to the press. Quote, in this case, you have a powerful hospital conglomerate threatening a 15-year-old into silence, unquote, Diaz said. Quote, if they'll do it to Sampson, who could be next, unquote. While Spruce said Northern Light supports a person's right to speak freely in a public forum, she said that right is, quote, not without limit, unquote. Quote, factually unsupported and demonstrably false assertions that are designed to unfairly undermine the public's trust and that cause actual harm, like those at issue here, may be challenged through legal means, unquote, Spruce said. Quote, EMMC has an obligation to ensure that statements bearing upon the mission of caring for the region's most vulnerable population are accurate and truthful, unquote. And so, a lot of comments, obviously, about the article. A lot of people who actually worked at the hospital, and I say worked as, you know, past tense, have commented here. Some anonymously, saying things about the hospital and, you know, some of the horror stories they've had there. Mostly, you know, about people, you know, saying they weren't treated well. Some patients not being treated well, as, you know, being in there for whatever kind of surgery they had. You know, the staff was kind of indifferent to them going in there. And, you know, what it is, they're understaffed. Okay, everybody understands that. And I think that's a problem affecting most hospitals in this country. There's not enough doctors to go around. Probably not enough nurses to go around either. So these people are overworked. Yet at the same time, the companies that own these hospitals are still sticking money up their ass to add to this and add to that, and bloating this friggin' thing up bigger, giving more responsibility to the people, the few people that are working there, more to contend with. And so a lot of these people, you know, the burnout rate is pretty high, you know, for people who work in the medical field, because it's just too much. You know, it's too much of a burden. I mean, when we had the pandemic, I mean, we found out just how bad the hospitals were. They could not handle anything like that. You know, it was, they could only take what they could take, and everybody else had to die because they just, you know, and so it was really a pitiful example, you know, of what, you know, it woke us up. Everybody got woke up. I mean, we got woked, okay, that our hospitals are in dire need of help. And we need to get more people working in them because we don't have enough staff. And you know, and of course, when something like this comes up, where a person complains about the treatment that they got there, they get all paranoid because they don't want negativity surrounding these banks. Is what they really are. Is these hospitals aren't hospitals; they're fucking banks, because everybody owes money to that goddamn thing, and they're sitting there making money off of it, you know, and adding on to these things, to these hospitals, making them bigger and bigger and bigger, and you know, they're just riding the cash, and anybody that says anything bad about it is going to get silenced. Okay, they don't want people out there talking bad about their hospital. And so it doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult, they're going to come after you. And this is kind of scary in the way that, you know, a hospital like Eastern Maine will go through the lengths to silence somebody and their kid from, you know, making statements that are not going to be popular with people who live in the area. Like, there wasn't already a perception of that already in this area. I know a lot of people that I've talked to, they have complaints about that hospital, about how they were treated when they were there. You know, and how that, you know, they basically were kicked out of the damn hospital, you know, when they weren't even feeling better yet. And there's just a lot. I mean, you could almost talk to anybody right in this area who's ever gone down there for a treatment or even just a minor surgery or something, and they'll tell you, you know, this, a lot of the staff just ain't with it, you know. And I know the times that my uncles have been in there, and I go there to visit. A lot of times I go in there, and it just feels like you're stepping on people because they don't seem to know what they're doing, you know. And they're shoving you aside, and they're pushing stuff in your face, and they're just, you know, constantly dealing with all kinds of things, and they're not really focused on, you know, pills, giving out pills, or who had their lunch or who didn't. You know, there's really not that, because they don't have enough hands on deck. You know, it's one of those places where you got to have hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? Okay, it's not a place where you can get by on the skin of your teeth by cutting corners and keeping staff levels low. Okay, that's what sunk the Titanic. That's what caused the Challenger to explode. That's what caused the fucking submarine that went down to see the Titanic get imploded. Okay, is when people cut corners and they try to get top fucking usage out of something, and they can't, because it's more than they can. It's more than it can handle. Okay, things collapse. And that's what's going to happen down there at Eastern Maine. Okay, they're trying to run a big fucking thing down there, what a skeleton crew was I call it, and it's just not working. Okay, a lot of people, they start working there and they quit because they don't, you know, it's just way too overloaded with responsibility, and a lot of people can't stand that, so they go to you know, another hospital like St. Joseph's Hospital, which is on the other side of Bangor, and their reputation ain't all that stellar over there either. Okay, and so and I'm sure there's a lot of hospitals in the country who probably fall into that category as being, you know, understaffed and overworked. Okay, and that's got to stop. Okay, there needs to be encouragement to these hospitals given for them to start hiring out more people. They need to get people working there. Okay. And I think that's a problem that, you know, we can solve that problem if we really want to do it. It's an easy problem to fix, because all you got to do is promote health, and you got to promote people willing to want to work there. Okay, so, you know, you give them a good pay, and, you know, you give them proper hours, benefits, and all that stuff. You get them to work there. Okay, and then, you know, you'll start to see that things are more organized. Okay, everybody's not running from one place to another in there, or, you know, forgetting something, or what do you know what I'm saying? Because you can sign all the clipboards and everything you want to say that you did this and that, but when you go in there and the patient's complaining because you didn't change the bedpan or you didn't give them their lunch or something, okay, then the clipboard don't mean jack. Okay, so that means that there's just too many beds that one person has to take care of. Okay, they're on their feet all fucking day. They never get a break. That's a job for a robot, if you ask me. Okay, and when a patient asks if they need something, a medication, and they don't get it for an hour or maybe never, you know, hey, that could be a life-saving matter, and you just fucked it up. Okay, you made a patient sicker because you didn't do what they wanted to do an hour and a half ago. Okay, things like that have been going on over there too. And we got, like I said, we got a lot of old people in the state, and so, you know, there's a lot of elderly people that show up there periodically sometimes for certain things, and then eventually they're there for a long stay until they're moved into a rest home or whatever, you know, or, you know, place to recuperate. And then you got that mess you got to deal with over there by trying to get somebody into one of them damn places, which is always full. There never seems to be enough room in there for anybody else to go in there, because, you know, those rest homes there for the elderly are always full, always full. I mean, Christ. But Eastern Maine has satellite clinics all over this fucking town, all over that. Okay, everywhere. So the additions may not be connected to the hospital physically, but they are branched out in many fucking clinics all over Bangor. Okay, well, a lot of them, and they're all under the same banner. Okay, and I'll tell you, it's a huge thing. Christ, they're going to own this damn town. They keep it up. You know, but at the same time, as big as they are, they're not doing their due diligence, I guess, of keeping the public happy. Okay, they're trying to get by with little staff, and you know, people like this have got to say stuff like, you know, what's going on. I mean, how are we going to know? How is the representatives in the state ever going to know if nobody speaks out? You can't silence somebody for going to. It's like, you know, when you go to a Better Business Bureau. Okay, what if every time somebody went to Better Business Bureau to write down some kind of complaint, they get sued because they wrote a critique down about some business? Is that right? Of course it ain't. They have a right to say something about a business if they're a member of it. Okay, so what the fuck gives? Why is it that, you know, all of a sudden this place doesn't want their fucking reputation stained by anybody? When it's already known in the town here that they don't have a very good reputation as it is, and it just has never been put out there like this kid tried to do, to get for what they did to his mother, you know, in response. You know, what the hell? There's hundreds of people around here who could back up what that kid was saying in his editorial, whatever you want to call it. But he had every right to contact a representative about that. And obviously, I don't know if Golden ever said anything about back to him, because it didn't say anything about a response from a Representative Golden about getting that message and what he thought or said about it. I don't know. But he's been awfully quiet while this has all been going on here. So, you know, maybe he's just ducking for cover because he doesn't want to get his name mixed up in this. I don't know. Sometimes politicians are funny that way. You know, they pick and choose the fights they want to fight. When people really need them, you know, it all depends on how serious is the damage going to be to their political career should they lose the fight. You know, and I think that Golden is probably not going to say anything about it because, you know, Eastern Maine, this Northern Lights company here is a big fucking company. It's like Big Oil almost or something, and they could really put the hurt locker on him politically, and he might have gotten donations from that company, you know, when he was running for you know, politics. I don't know, he might have. There's a number of reasons why, you know, you probably haven't heard anything said about that, but time will tell, I guess. But it's I thought it was a pretty good article to try to, you know, because it's the giant, you know, the Goliath, you know what I'm saying, picking on the little guy. Okay, big fucking conglomerate like that feels threatened by a 15-year-old, and they're gonna try to, you know, destroy the kid's family. Okay, you know, talk about overkill, for Christ's sake. You know, you think, you know, all they would have to do is just to come out and say, well, we'll talk to him or something. There was a million ways they could have smoothed this over, and it wouldn't even have gotten the attention that it got. But because this happened, it's a bad image for the hospital to be this big guy, you know, slapping down a 15-year-old kid. I mean, come on, you know. Anyway, that's all I got to say for today. So please just subscribe and comment, and keep your ears open for COVID news, and just treat each other nice, okay? And don't, you know, and remember what I said about the convention that's coming up. And oh yes, Bob Barker died today, and you know, I just want to say to the family, you know, you have my deepest condolences. The guy was basically, since kindergarten for me, was quite a guide to follow. For all these years in my life that we was on TV and everything, he was almost like a family member. Many days when I was sick and at home, couldn't go to school, I'd watch The Price is Right, and he was always so fun to watch. And you know, looking back on it now, it was an educational thing too, because it taught you how to add and subtract what was greater and lesser, you know, in mathematics. And you got to see what inflation is all about, because when you look at that show in retro, in some early episodes, you'll see that the price of things was way low, you know, depending on the year. So it had a historical educational value. So he was 99 years old, and he had a full life, I guess you could say. But well, what a life. And I'm glad that he touched so many people and made a lot of people smile. So rest in peace. And take care, everybody. I'll talk to you again later.